Am I the asshole for not helping my brother with his rent after he showed up to pick it up with a new tattoo? My brother asked me if I could please help him pay his rent. It was only $800, so I agreed. When he came by my place to pick it up, I noticed he had a brand new tattoo on his calf. Like it still had the plastic on it from the artist. I asked him what the fuck, and he said he had booked the tattoo months ago and that it was an artist that was hard to get to see. I told him I changed my mind, so he had to go get it from our parents that berated him for his stupidity and poor decision making. He says that I'm the asshole because I agreed without any conditions and that our parents make him feel stupid about his decisions. I don't think I should help him when he had the money and chose to spend it stupidly. Not the asshole, he spent his rent money on a tattoo, and didn't tell you that's why he needed the money. I wouldn't be loaning anyone money who'd used theirs on a frivolous purchase like that. I've lent money to friends in tough spots because extra bills came up and they didn't have grocery money, or needed an unexpected car repair and couldn't afford the full bill. But nah, if they spent their money on something like a tattoo, that should only be paid for with truly disposable income. I don't have much sympathy when they're short on rent. Not the asshole, he should have had the money put aside for the tattoo when he booked the appointment. Not paid for it instead of rent when the appointment came about. He needs to be made to feel stupid about his decision. Not the asshole. I am sure if he told you why he was short rent money, you might have made a different decision. Not the asshole. You'd be throwing money down a black hole. Your parents are right. He has poor decision-making skills at the very least. He needs to experience the consequences in making the trade-off of spending money for a tattoo rather than for a place to stay. This is called adulting. Not the asshole. A long time ago, my sister-in-law got kicked out of her mother's house and my spouse offered her to stay with us for a couple of months to get back on her feet. It was a tough time dealing with that because she didn't contribute to the groceries, didn't help pay utilities, didn't contribute towards rent. But she also spent every single penny she got from her job on expensive nail polishes, a tattoo, and clothes. She ended up having to move across the country to her grandparents to live, and they paid for her plane ticket because she had nothing saved up. You were right to not lend the money to your brother. Sounds like he needs to learn a hard lesson on necessities over wants. $800 is a lot of money to just hand over to someone who clearly lets it run a hole in his pocket. Not the asshole. Absolutely not. You didn't make conditions because you underestimated his capacity to be stupid. I'm sure you won't make that mistake again. You don't have to pay $800 penalty fee for granting him some grace before you found out it's misplaced. Am I the asshole for refusing to continue hosting parties for my family? I, 26F, love hosting parties for my family. I'm usually the one in charge of Christmas and most birthdays are celebrated at my home. I love doing nice and elaborate parties. I usually plan a menu, make everything from scratch, decorate. For Christmas I started doing Secret Santa and depending on the event even some games or karaoke. Before I started doing this, my family used to do pretty normal events. Just one meal like a basic barbecue, buying pizza, a traditional food and buying a cake for dessert. Never decorated and the parties were just about showing up, eating and leaving. There was nothing wrong with that, but I love Christmas, so about 4 years ago I decided I was going to host for once and did it as I mentioned. Everyone loved it and were praising me for everything. With the years I've definitely improved my cooking and party planning skills, and honestly I'm very proud of what I do. They liked it so much that they started asking that for some birthdays if I could host a party as a gift for them, and I happily did. It's important to mention that my main family is only 9 or 10 people, so it's not too much for me to handle or too expensive. Now to the issue. The last parties I've been hosting, which were the last Christmas, my mom's, uncle's and aunt's birthdays and my husband's birthday as the most recent, they have gotten what I consider a nasty attitude. For example, I would send proper invites clearly stating that the party would start at 3:30 p.m. Well, they would show up at 12 p.m. and comment how I wasn't ready. For my husband's party they saw that the decorations were halfway done and started asking why the food wasn't ready. I had told them it was an early dinner but decided to show up without having eaten lunch, and to just give up with the decorations and start cooking cause I was being rude by letting them be hungry. Long story short, they started eating random stuff and everyone pressured me into cutting several things off the party and move the schedule quicker to accommodate them, leading me to not have the party as I had pictured and having to rush cook, just for some of them to leave right after the food and left only 6 of us behind. They have done the same in all the other events, show up early, shame me for not being ready, eat and leave. That leads to yesterday when I was talking to my mom and asked me what was I planning for Christmas this year. I said I wasn't planning anything since I had told them last time I didn't like their attitude and I was done. That led to a fight about how I can't take a joke, and I should instead learn to take help and accommodate to our family. The argument led to nothing but has left me wondering, am I really the asshole here? My husband is on my side, but I'd like some unbiased opinions. Edit. grammar mistakes, etc. Some of you have asked about what she meant by not accepting help. Here's a comment I left before explaining more. They have offered help before, and I'd let them but never do as I asked. For example, last Christmas I was making an apple crumble. They offered help, so I asked them to just peel the apples and specifically told them not to cut them since I like them sliced in a very specific way. Also, to only peel the green ones since the red was for a charcuterie table I was assembling. They peeled all of them and cut them into cubes. When I got annoyed, they called me dramatic and that it was better their way. I stopped letting them help because they always thought they knew better, so I instead asked them to sit and have a drink and had snacks prepared in case I got delayed. Now they show up even too early for me to have the drinks and snacks ready. Obvious, not the asshole. As someone who loves hosting, it's expensive, time-consuming and a lot of labor. I went from hosting every other weekend to every handful of months because my place was absolutely trashed the next day. I let people sleep over so they didn't drive home drunk. I frequently get asked why I'm not hosting as much anymore, and I just tell them I don't have the capacity to do so right now. Unfortunately, your family got so used to you doing them this favor that it's no longer seen as a favor, it's an expectation. Stand your ground and stop hosting for them unless it's something you really want to do on occasion. Not the asshole. You have a couple of choices. You can stop hosting these events altogether. You can turn away people who show up early. Party starts at 3, it's only 12. You can either go kill time at the mall or help me get set up. It sounds like they're taking advantage of you. It is not a joke, and you are not failing to accommodate. Your guests are damn rude and you can call them out on it. If you show up to something 3 hours early, it dang well better be with an amazing attitude and to help. And weirdly, it's still a bit rude if you don't clear it with the hosts. Not the asshole. Your family has become ungrateful, so it's time they host for a while. Alternate plan: if you really enjoy hosting and want to give them a chance to shape up before quitting, you could make Christmas a final warning, and send everyone a note saying that due to recent events with guests arriving too early and causing you stress, no one will be let in the house before 3 p.m. and if anyone does show up early, that one person will ruin it for the entire group because you'll take a break from hosting completely. No one will want to ruin it for the group is my guess. Edit. Clarity. Husband here. To add context that she excluded, I specifically asked for childlike party since I never got one as a kid. This included a piñata, games, homemade pizza and balloons, cake, etc. This got ruined by how everyone came early and expected everything to be ready, ruining the vibe and feeling unable to say anything to them. I love seeing how happy she is hosting, and seeing the happiness be taken away from her put a damper over the event for me. I already told her she should stop hosting to an ungrateful family who expects perfection without even giving a dime. Who is they? Is it everyone? One bad couple? Deal with the bad apples and don't let them ruin your fun. Not the asshole. Fight about how I can't take a joke. What exactly is the joke? What is the funny part here? Them rudely showing up 3.5 hours beforehand? Them harassing you about your schedule when they were so many hours early? Bitching about food for lunch when the invite was for early dinner? Ask them, where's the joke? All I see is crass behavior by a bunch of ungrateful and entitled people who don't even have enough class to stay after food. And no, when you're hosting a party, get together and you have things timed out, send invites for a specific time and are on schedule, you do not have to accommodate shit, they're just rude. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my best friend's fiancé propose at my wedding? So, I, 30F, got married last month to the love of my life, and everything went off without a hitch, except for one awkward moment. A week before the wedding, my best friend, Maya, 29F, asked if her fiancé, Jake, 28M, could propose to her at my reception. Apparently, Jake thought it would be romantic and was convinced that it would make their moment more special. Now, I love Maya, but the idea of having my wedding overshadowed by their proposal didn't sit right with me. I politely said no and suggested they have their own special day. Maya seemed a little disappointed, but she said she understood. On the wedding day, I noticed Maya and Jake were acting distant, and it was clear something was off. I later found out that Jake was upset with me for ruining his plan, and felt like I'd been selfish for not allowing them to share in the love of the day. Am I the asshole for refusing to let them have their proposal at my wedding, or was I being selfish by not letting them make it a double celebration? Not the asshole. Your wedding day is about celebrating you and your partner, not serving as a backdrop for someone else's proposal. Proposals at weddings are often seen as inappropriate because they can shift the focus away from the couple being celebrated, which is exactly why you were right to say no. Honestly, your friend should have known better than to ask in the first place. It's common sense that it's rude to make someone else's wedding about you, and I don't understand why she even thought that would be okay. It's your day, not an open mic for other people's romantic gestures. You weren't selfish, you were just setting a completely reasonable boundary. Stand by your decision, and don't feel bad for keeping the spotlight where it belonged. On you and your partner. Not the asshole. There should be a special place in the afterlife for people who hijack others' special events, weddings, birthdays, engagement parties, funerals, anniversaries, etc., to announce their own special event. My only exception to this rule would be if an unexpected emergency or family tragedy takes place during, just before said event. Not the asshole. Were Maya and Jake also planning on paying for half the costs of the reception, caterer, DJ, decorations, etc.? I mean, they wanted to share in the love of the day, so did that mean they wanted to also share in the costs of the day? Yeah, didn't think so. Again, not the asshole. Not the asshole in the slightest. How is a proposal she knows about and is taking part in planning gonna be special at all? That shit's not even real at that point. Which feels even worse, like it's almost fake? You want to hijack my wedding to put on this proposal skit for my friends and family? Weird, selfish and stupid. Not the asshole and... Why is she asking if she can get proposed to at your wedding? That means the proposal has effectively already happened and they're just putting on a play for attention. Not the asshole. If she asked if he could propose to her at your wedding, they were not asking for a proposal. They were asking you to subsidize their engagement party. If it is planned by the couple together, then it is no longer a proposal. Am I the asshole for not giving up my bed? I live with my girlfriend. We live in a 3-bedroom apartment, but only our bedroom has a bed in it. One of the rooms is used as an office for me and the other is more of a storage room. My girlfriend went out with a friend at the weekend. When they were out, her friend got a message from someone with proof that her boyfriend was cheating on her. They lived together, so she didn't want to go home. My girlfriend told her she could stay with us for the night but didn't tell me until they'd arrived back. My girlfriend asked if I'd have the sofa for the night so her friend can have the bed. I refused since I'm not going to be kicked out of my own bed. I told her that her friend can have the sofa but also that it's only for the night and she can't stay any longer than that. My girlfriend said I was being unfair and her friend should have the bed, but I just said she can have the sofa or stay somewhere else. Am I the asshole for not giving up my bed? Not the asshole. There is no way in hell I would give up my bed. That's your personal space. To me, that's like asking to borrow someone's underwear. You just don't do that. Your girlfriend should have given you a heads up on her friend staying, and she should have discussed before agreeing. I wouldn't want someone just crashing on my couch all the time, either, so while I would put a limit on the stay, I think she should be allowed to stay more than one night. But that's just my opinion. Partial asshole. You're not the asshole for wanting to sleep in your own bed. Your girlfriend's friend should be glad you are letting her stay. You are the asshole for saying she can only stay one night. Obviously she is very important to your girlfriend and it is very difficult and scary having no place to stay. If she has no other place to go, you should at least put a roof over her head. But I agree, she doesn't need your bed. Guests, especially unexpected ones, don't get to oust you from your bed. It's only for the night and she can't stay any longer than that. I do think this is a conversation that should have waited until morning though. In that moment, it's going to sound very cold-hearted to your girlfriend. It'll still sound cold the next day, but at least you'll have time to discuss it. You are the asshole. You're also technically correct, and it's fine to set boundaries and to not want to give up your bed or sacrifice for anyone else ever that doesn't give you immediate gain. You can be correct and also an asshole. You come across as extremely selfish. Not the asshole. You shouldn't have to give up your bed. Your girlfriend and her friend can stay up all night on the sofa. You are the asshole, not for wanting to sleep in your bed but for the, we're kicking her out after one night. Can't even join in on your girlfriend's basic empathy for a friend. I wonder if you'd be more generous if the same thing happened to one of your friends.